Nicole Small Show, where we give you straight talk with no chaser. Here, we discuss issues from the White House to your house. And now, here's your host, Nicole Small.
Good morning. Welcome. Well, I guess I need to welcome myself back. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of things. I was trying to find this video that I want to play from public comment for city council, but I don't know where the archive meetings are. Want to talk a little bit about Ukraine today and the support the Ukraine is getting from the United States. Wait, let me turn this around. Sorry. Okay, now that's just two. Wait a minute. I don't know. I feel like I'm cut off. I need something else. Bear with me for a second. That's not going to work. Something missing. Hold on. Maybe it should be further out. So, want to talk about maybe your thoughts around the support that Ukraine is getting from the United States. First of all, let me say this, like, I don't agree with the war. That's just my personal opinion. I just think, of course, as most wars, this really is about Putin being greedy and wanting to abuse his power, but that's over there. Do I believe that there should be some assistance from the United States? Because if Putin wins this war, will we have some type of backlash? Yes, I say I agree with that. Where I struggle, this is where I struggle. How we find all these resources for the people in the Ukraine, but when the Haitians come over here, we always want to send them with their stuff packing. I really don't understand that. And we see this all the time when the Haitians try to come and enter this country, and the way that we do it, we immediately send them packing. I'm quite sure we still got some people from the Ukraine living in the United States. I struggle with that. I struggle with, wow, what if we would have been able to send them some resources over there? So for me, and these black folks going over there to help the people in the Ukraine, didn't you just see them put them Africans in the back of the line? Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I mean, we have people over here in who are homeless. We have people struggling. And how much was that bill that Biden signed yesterday? Let me look that up. I want to make sure I get the amount right. How much in aid money? 13.6 billion in Ukraine aid money. That's what was approved yesterday. Now again, bombing maternity hospitals in the Ukraine, all of this mess that you see going on, I don't agree with it. I really and truly don't. And I also support the fact that President Biden said that they weren't going to send troops directly into Ukraine. They just were going to make sure that they sent troops to NATO. But you sending $13.6 billion. But can't nobody ever find their way to signing off on my student loan debt. I'm confused about how this happened. And you can't ever find my money for the student loans. This is crazy. This is just absolutely crazy. Also, what happened yesterday? Oh, the Senate passed unanimously a bill to make daylight savings time permanent. Did I miss something? Was it ever a time where daylight savings time never happened? I really didn't understand that. So it makes me question like their use of time. But I struggle with this piece. I guess maybe I don't understand it, right? I don't understand why we're sending $13.6 billion in pandemic. I mean, in aid money to the Ukraine. That's a lot. I do know that I guess Putin is asking, is it China, for some assistance with some more resources. So I guess he could continue to just bomb everybody up. So hopefully they won't do that. Hopefully he's running out of ammunition and this can end sooner than later. But how did we get to the point where we could send that much money to them? But we always booting them Haitians on up out of here. I mean, quick, fast, and in a hurry, we be getting rid of them every time. It's not just with this president, it's with previous presidents. They don't want them black folks over here, do they? But we could send 13. We always helping somebody else, but it's something about those Haitians that no president ever want them over here. We let everybody else just live over here, footloose and fancy free, knowing that they done came to this country by hook or crook. Right, however they could get over here, and we let them stay. But when it comes to them Haitians, we had no love. Now I don't know what the Haitians did to us. I'm just a little confused. So maybe it's something that I'm missing. I don't profess to know everything, but I'm telling you, what is it about the Haitians that we can't never provide them no support? And the way we treat them. Oh, the way we treat them. But yet and still, and this is what I want to talk about: a house divided. Right, a house divided with all of the issues that we have going on over here. You're not like you're going to South Africa to help the folks. You have black folks going to Ukraine, and they literally just put the black folks in the back of the line. When the last time you done seen us put to the back of the line? And I'm not saying that we've advanced as far as we should as a people, but when is the last time that you've seen black folks be put in the back of the line? They sending you a message, and you know it's true. But that's what people choose to do. Good luck with it. I don't know how that's going. Why don't you go to Russia and help that black sister get on up out of jail? Because they're not letting her go. They are literally using her as a pawn. And I think it's absolutely disgusting. What I didn't understand either was, well, I guess she was coming from New York. She's a well-known, one of the top players for the WNBA in Russia, Brittany. And she was coming from New York. They claimed that she was caught with some cannabis oil, whatever. First, like they don't do drugs in Russia. And I'm not, whatever. They do some real drugs in Russia too. And that's when she was apprehended, when she actually made it into Russia. And you still holding her over there, and she could do some serious time. You want to go help somebody, go advocate for her. Because they need to let her go. This is out of hand. So now she being held captive, but we got black folks who want to go over there and help the Ukraine. I guess I don't understand it. That's what I'm saying. Like, my level of understanding, I haven't been able to draw the right conclusions and understanding on how that works and how we get there. I don't. My opinion. Let's move on to the house divided here. Again, I'm going to put out there, we elect, I just want you to remember who we elect. We elect our president. On that ticket is our vice president. You elect your U.S. senators. You elect your Congress people. You elect your state reps. You elect your county reps. You elect your city reps. And I just want to go back to, how are we passing bills and sending money elsewhere, and nothing is being done about a student loan debt? Let me tell you the benefits of our government wiping out at least the majority. No, let me be clear. I don't mean a majority overall. I mean giving at least a huge percentage of debt forgiveness for student loans. If you're not going to do 100%, you can at least do like 50% of everybody's student loan debt. So that would improve people's credit rating. It would lower the debt to income ratio. It would free up some opportunities, right, for them to be able to do some other things, to reinvest back into the economy without having this load on them. And really and truly, it's just stupid anyway. So before you start sending all of this money elsewhere, can you do what you said you were going to do, which is wipe out some of this student loan debt? Because I'm still waiting on it, and I'm just an advocate for it. And I keep saying we need some type of online petition so all of these folks can see, outside of AOC and Rashida Tlaib and Warnock, he was advocating to wipe out the student loan debt. Besides the few people up there, maybe they really and truly need to understand how many people want this debt forgiveness. I mean, how you pay? How is it that places like Ruth Chris get bailed out, but you won't bail out the people here? How does that work? You won't bail out the people here with student loan debt, but you bail out corporations who are already rich. These people have yachts and everything. Like, do something for the common man or the common sister. Let's do that. Do something like that. So, in my opinion, it's a house divided. We have too many representatives that think that they should take care of others or lose sight of those who are really and truly in need, right? And that's what we have. Let's get to our. It was something that happened in the state. Now I can't remember. State legislation. You know, they are scrambling like crazy because of the way they've redrawn these lines. You got Cynthia Johnson and Tyrone Carter going to end up running against each other. There's a white lady in Royal Oak. I can't remember her name. She had red hair. She got a lot of energy. Let me just say that she's very energetic. She's running against Marshall Bullock. Is there a white guy running against Alina Scott? Maybe. Did I make that up in my mind? I don't think I made that up. I think that's true. Well, the way these lines are drawn, let me just say this. Oh, anybody live over there in Boston, Edison, Virginia Park area? That's an open seat. Who do we have running over there? Like, I can't believe with that amount of money and voters over there in those areas that we don't have anybody running. Like, yeah, that's odd to me. But the filing deadline is April the 19th. So somebody will probably just pay the $100, whoever Duggan wants to get in there and slide them in. But that's an area that has some affluent neighborhoods in it. I don't know if it goes across Woodward to Arden Park, but I know on the other side, west of Woodward, yeah, that's kind of like an open seat because of the way they've redrawn the lines. And I'm very interested to know why we haven't seen anyone step up over there. Something to that. That's very strange for people not to be putting their name in the hat for an area like that where you know people gonna vote, right? Where you know that they're gonna vote. You don't have an incumbent. I don't know what we're doing here. I'm really concerned on what this Detroit caucus is going to look like. It might be a majority of white suburban people who end up being the members of the Detroit caucus. But we failed to plan, we failed to unite, and we damn sure failed to vote. So when we know better, we're supposed to do better. If we don't, they just gonna take it. And you know, once they take it, it's gonna be like hell getting them up out of there. It really and truly is. Like I'm just telling you, it is. And then we have these congressional seats, this congressional race, and I've been talking to you about that. Nobody's bowing out of the 13th, but April the 19th will be here soon enough. So we'll actually see who gets the signatures, right? You have to have 1,000 valid signatures, which means you'll probably need about 1,700. So we'll see who wins that. So I went to the 14th congressional meeting on Saturday. Let me share this with you. It was quite entertaining. I'll say that. I haven't been all year, but it was quite entertaining. So let me just get to good and welfare. That's when the folks get up and they speak. Like if you have a public announcement, y'all know what good and welfare is, but you know what good and welfare is during election time, right? That's when all of the candidates get up and they begin to speak. So I'm going to tell you who was there. Sherry Gay, Sri Tanadar, Portia Robeson, Kelly Garrett, Alina Scott, Pam Pugh spoke to, and she's running, don't forget her. Pamela Pugh is running for the State Board of Education. Listen, she has been advocating for our children so tough, even especially around this COVID and how these schools are not following protocol, and how she wants to see more push from our government to make sure that these children are protected in the schools. She has been a huge advocate for making sure that these schools that are especially in communities of color have the resources that they need to really be able to compete with these other schools, because we know, depending on where you live and what school district you live in or where you send your kid to, will determine, you know, what type of education they get. It's still that way. Even with, you take a look here in the city of Detroit, you take a look at what's about to happen, how we're about to get $700 billion over 5 years to come to Dr. Vitti. And this is where I'm going to go back to the 14th. But let me say this about the schools. When you think about that, think about how that affects us also just at a city budget level. So I know that there are some line items within the city of Detroit's proposed budget that will support our schools. Now, let's just back up. Last year, remember, we were approved with the ARPA dollars, the American Rescue Plan dollars that came from President Biden and the federal government, that we will receive that money in two parts. So this May, we receive another $400 and some odd million, and we need to talk about that too. How I don't see a lot of people talking about how to propose to use that money in their districts, but the school system also received $1 billion. That's one. Now they're about to receive about $700 billion over a course of 5 years. And listen, I am a huge advocate. What's going on in these schools, and some of these schools are deplorable. These kids are being pushed through without even receiving the basics. You look at how, they graduate from high school and really can't construct a complete sentence. I'm saying that that's dangerous. That affects you in so many different ways. And I know some people gonna say, well, I know millionaires who didn't go to school. Listen here. How many out of the average person who live in the country, in the world, right? You need to at least have the fundamental basics. I think that you should. Let me say that. I think that you should. And I just think that it's a disservice to our children how you have to even be on a waiting list for years. Probably like when you're pregnant, you need to be putting your kid on a waiting list with some of these good magnet schools because they're too few and far between. And we don't have a lot of options in the city of Detroit, as we should, right? To be able to send our kids to, I guess at some point in time, you used to be able to send your kid up the street. I don't know. I went to private school before I went to public school. So kindergarten through 8th grade, I went to private school before I went to a magnet program in high school. And I'm saying that to say, and that was very competitive, right? But some parents don't have either the capacity, right, or even the knowledge to really know how to position their children for those opportunities. And sometimes these parents or single parents are working a couple of jobs, or don't have the means to transport their kids to these other schools, which would definitely be put them at an advantage. So I get it, but we need to do something. I would like to see a plan of where we restore some of these schools in the neighborhood to make sure that more children have an opportunity to go to their local school and be able to take part in a robust curriculum, right? And also they need the support of after school programs for some of the parents who, I'm just going to be honest with you, some of these parents can't help their children with their homework. And if they can't, let them have another resource and opportunity to make sure that they still can keep up with the curriculum. That's what I would like to see done. And that's a lot of money. Now, let me tell you what I'm hearing. So there are a couple of things going on at the school system level. There was I guess an assessment, so to speak, that was done to take a look at all of the schools that are closed, the Detroit public schools that are closed. So I believe, and the gist of it is they will take a look. This company did an assessment, right? And they went in, they did do a walkthrough to take a look at, okay, what are the conditions of the schools? And they submitted a proposal of recommendations to the Detroit Public School Board about, okay, well, this would be a good school for you to keep to use an operation. I don't know if I don't believe that they necessarily told them to reopen the school to be open to the accessible to the neighborhood, but some of these schools, because of the conditions that they were in, they might want to keep on their roster. The other schools, I believe, will be sold, whatever that looks like, whether it's to an organization, another private investor, or whatever, sort of like Durfee, right? With Life Remodel, Chris Lambert, and you'll have an opportunity to do that. Now, to my understanding, no decisions have been made about which schools will be what. I know Cooley, which is a hot button topic for a lot of people, is one of the schools that possibly will be on that list. So Chris Lambert, who has Durfee, is definitely looking to acquire Cooley High School. Wasn't Durfee supposed to be a business incubator? I know I'm not the only one who remember that. Remember when Chris Lambert, the man from California, who came around here fixing up houses so he can acquire them. Let me tell you something, folks is slick. I keep telling you, Detroit is like a blank canvas and you could paint your own picture as long as you're not from here. But I thought that he was supposed to make that a business incubator. It's not a business incubator. And remember when he's paying like $1 a year or something for that school. You didn't complete the work over there, and now you want to acquire Cooley. But there are a lot of people who want to acquire Cooley. I remember probably in 2017, it was at one of Duggan's meetings. There was a white, they weren't a couple like together, but there was a white man and a white woman, and they were from Birmingham, out there in Birmingham, Michigan, and they were already looking at Cooley. Like, so there have been some people who really want to, it's the neighborhood, right? Of course, the bones of the school, things like that. And then you have a group of Black people who would like to see that school, and they have some uses for it. So, it's going to come down to the money. I'm quite sure who has the means on paper to say that they can get in there and bring it up to par so it can be in full operation. Now, let's just be cognizant of the fact that we too have someone right now in the city who claimed that they were going to rehab this large development, and they haven't. Ryan Constanello, I think that's his name, for Herman Kiefer. How's that working out? And we basically handed over a 14-acre old hospital to this man, and nothing has been done. The rehab hasn't been done. That hasn't been completed. Well, also, and I'm going to talk about this on another show, Ryan's name is not on Herman Kiefer. It's still owned by the health department. So how he getting all of these tax subsidies and he's being claimed to be the owner and his name isn't even on Herman Kiefer? City Council, where you at with that? So getting back to the schools, I just want to be clear, like we have quite a few schools that were shut down, were closed down, that were Detroit public schools. I personally think that, it would just be business as usual if we allow those schools that will be on the market or opened up for opportunity to go to private investors or organizations, that if we don't ensure that they're going to bring some purposes into the community that actually benefit the community. So for me, for those who are in the education and have those types of programs, we absolutely need some sort of, one of those schools need to be used to make sure. Remember how we used to have DAPSEP? I don't know if DAPSEP is still around, but I know when I was a kid, DAPSEP was a robust program. We need something like that where kids can go to a program, actually get a certificate, but they have really good, well-funded, right, and robust programs for kids to be able to excel in science, math. I would like to see a debate program, a civics program, like all in the same school. So like maybe after school or on Saturday, the kids can be bussed over there. They find money for everything else. You got 700 billion coming. So this is just my thought, right? For those of you who you're in your vein. Bus them to this particular school so they can learn that. Our kids need to learn the art of debate. They need to learn that. We need a help me out. Toastmasters. We need a Toastmasters class for these kids, but also like in Tech Town, they dissect the whale down there, whatever that little program is. Remember how you used to be able to go to what's that called? Upper Bound with U of M. Whatever you getting at Upper Bound, you need to bring that down here to one of these schools. So I would hope that with all of this money coming in, that Detroit Public Schools community, I ain't got time for all them acronyms, DPS would be very selective about how to use some of these buildings and to offer some of these kids these opportunities. I just think that that would be great. Let them go to these programs, make them 6-week, or I don't know how many weeks in a semester. I'm old, I forgot. So like you go to school from August to September to December is one semester, but now I know some of them have quarters in some of the more accelerated high school programs. But I really would like to see this for our kids too at elementary school. If you have 700 billion coming in, let's make sure that we upgrade the curriculums that we have now. And I'm not talking about Renaissance high. Listen, with all due respect, I'm not talking about the Renaissance High School. I'm not talking about, I went to MSAT. It can't, like those programs, and I'm not saying they don't need any money, but I would like to see more schools with those types of programs. Now, here's the thing. We have to make sure that we start at the elementary school level to make sure that our kids are better prepared. And for some of these schools where the kids aren't, I would like to see a program that fills in those gaps. This is a lot of money. And I do understand that we have maintenance on some of these schools that needs to happen. I'm all for that. But I'm not for wasting that type of money coming into a school system that has been subpar for quite some time overall. These children deserve better. And there are some organizations that are doing the work to help supplement what's missing for these children in the neighborhood. And so I think that we should, and I'll do a better job of getting on some of these DPSCD calls to make sure that we see some of that. But I'm telling you, that's a lot of money. And are we just going to wait until all of the money starts coming in? I don't know. Parents were different. And I'm not saying we don't have these types of parents, but I wish some of these parents would get real pissed off. Like, you know how when your kid get their cell phone taken because they're using it in the classroom and they're not supposed to, bring that same energy to the school, right? And demand that they use some of this money to ensure that your child is going to have more opportunities in life because they're going to have access to a better education. You know that same energy when you almost want to mollywop the teacher for taking your kid's cell phone, because you know, hands up, listen, kudos to y'all teachers, because I couldn't be the one. No ma'am, no sir, couldn't be me. I haven't seen you for a PTA, but you gonna come up here raising hell about a cell phone, or because I addressed your kid not paying attention. Now look, I know some of these teachers can be a trip, but for the most part, I mean, if you call my mama about me cutting up in school, and I got a little mama, if you call my mama about me cutting up in school, all of that, that you have rights and all of this type of stuff to share your, I don't know nothing about that. I was just gonna be in trouble. That's just what I'm telling you. I was gonna be in trouble. I knew if I went to school that it was gonna go down if I'm cutting up in school, right? You better do your schoolwork, all of that, because nobody has time to be investing in you and you just gonna dismiss it. So I would like to see that. And I just wanted to bring it to your attention because we are very reactive instead of proactive in this city. But these are our children. And just think about all of that money. You know, maybe we should see which schools need, and maybe some of you on here can weigh in. I don't know, is your child going to school where they don't have, I heard about some kids not had, the heat wasn't working sometimes or something like that. Do schools have air conditioning now? I remember the crack the window days, so I don't know. So maybe some things like that But also to make sure, you know, the water is not orange, not full of lead, just quite a few things. But then can we get down to the nuts and bolts and make sure that we have more more access to programs for our children? And early learning is so important. These kids absorb so much. Look at how they work a cell phone. Look, you can give a 5-year-old, I bet a 5-year-old can work their cell phone better than me. When I get a new cell phone, you know, it's a bit of a learning curve. I got to get it together. So, but look at how much these children observe. They know how to set up TikTok. I don't know how to set up TikTok because I've never been on there. I like to watch the people, but think about that. We are not tapping in to our children and their intelligence and their skills. So it's our job to give them opportunities to redirect that. So I know I'm supposed to be telling you about the 14th, but I'm very serious about that. That's a lot of money coming into the city. Please, 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 whether your kids go to DPS or not, let's figure out how to lend some support to ensure a couple of things. A, that the Chris Lamberts of the world aren't the ones who are just benefiting from these schools that may go on the market. And also, oh, it keeps freezing. Somebody said my video keeps freezing. Is it freezing? Can somebody else let me know? Angela, is my video freezing? I don't see anybody else. My view is take the phones. Karen, can somebody tell me if my video is freezing? I can't see it freezing. Usually I can see it on this end. I must be behind. Okay, well, somebody gonna have to let me know. Oh, it's fine. Okay, good. But I would really like to see us make sure a couple of things, that these organizations that are working around providing an education, a supplemental education, right? So you have the mobile library that's I know they do that on the east side. I don't know if we do a mobile library on the west side because of the libraries that have been closed. You have some people who are working to educate kids around Black history. Wouldn't that be another great thing to have in one of these programs, in one of these schools? Okay, so let's go back over what I would like to see. Let them pick, maybe start off with one school, right? Maybe we need to do one on the west side, the east side, and make something convenient for the Southwest Detroit, or however, make sure we can bus the kids to at least the first building. They need to have civics because that's not taught in the school. They should have debate, a Toastmasters class, right? Teach the children how to speak. I would like to see like a biology, chemistry, which is that's biology where you dissect something. I remember they tried to get me to do that in high school, and I just picked this guy that I knew was gonna do it, and I did all the writing because that's not my thing. But biology, chemistry, I think we have enough coding. I don't know how that's working out. Is a lot of our children taking advantage of coding? But what about this? What if we had the animation class? You know how you could go to school and you learn how to do animation. So like for Disney and these cartoons and stuff, I think kids would like that. And what else did I say? I said debate, math. So something towards to help them be better at math so they can better prepare for engineering. I think that's good. You know what I would like to see? An etiquette class. Let me tell you something. Some of these young girls, you need to know what to wear under your clothes. That's all I'm gonna say. We need an etiquette class and to teach the young men too. I'm starting to see your underwear, but we need to teach these kids how to go to a restaurant and how to conduct themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not saying, I'm just saying this is what other cultures do for their children. This is what why not? Why not have a hub where we offer these opportunities to our children? Now, somebody just heard me say all of that. Now, you know I'm going to forget everything I said, but I'm going to figure out and write it down so we can start promoting it on Facebook. But again, let's be proactive with pushing the Detroit Public School Board and the superintendent, Dr. Vitti, to use this $700 billion within 5 years to come down, to be used wisely, right? So that's that. Let me get to the 14th Congressional District this past Saturday. So again, for those of you who are just joining, the meeting was at the Northwest Activity Center. And so we had, again, Pamela Pugh, who is running for re-election as an incumbent on the state board. Let me tell you why that position is so important. A lot of us don't hear about it because it's not the sensationalized position to run for office. Pam Pugh has been fighting like a real warrior for our children in schools across the state of Michigan. Don't forget, you still have the Betsy DeVosses of Michigan who do not want to see a Pam Pugh on that state board. April the 9th at Cobo Hall will be the endorsement conference or convention. If any of you are going anyway, if you have access to your state rep who has access to the governor and if you have access to these unions, listen, SEIU, UAW, the labor unions, all of them, AFSCME, AFL-CIO, listen, if you are a part, I don't care if you're retired, you need to make STEM, that's right, you need to make sure that you are telling them that they need to endorse Pam Pugh, and I'll tell you why. Especially during COVID, she has been such a strong warrior around the safety and the protections of our children. Now, you know what we're faced with right now. You have a lot of suburban parents who are ready they won't only fight the governor, they're going to fight the teachers about telling a kid to wear a mask and all of this type of stuff. It's really ridiculous because our kids are at such a disadvantage these last couple of years. I couldn't imagine having to go to school under these conditions. But I say that to say, even before COVID, Pam has been an advocate around building more equity in these schools, especially the schools that are in the communities of color. So I want you to remember that. Let's support those who have supported us. She has a body of work. She has a record, and we need to make sure that she gets endorsed because we need that person at the state level to advocate for our children in these schools. So I want to say that. So Pam Pugh was there. She spoke. And then during Good and Welfare, again, it was Shree Tanadar, Sherry Gay, Helena Scott, Kelly Garrett, and Portia Robertson. So let me start off with the easy ones. Let me tell you something about that Shree. Every time he stand in front of Black folks, he want to start telling us about how he grew up poor. I don't know about you, but I'm going to tell you something about me. I'm sick of folks of other races thinking that they got to come and tell us Black people about how they lived in poverty. But when you take yourself on out there to the suburbs, you tell them about the businesses and the work that you've done, whether you've done it or not. Don't come talking to me about how you grew up poor. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't. What have you done as a state rep that led you to believe that you should be running for Congress when you don't even know that job? And I find it quite insulting that folks always think they have to. Now, there's nothing wrong with talking about how you work towards something. I don't have a problem with that. But you always, I was poor, I was poor, I was poor. You still couldn't even tell you the things that he's really done while he's been in the state legislature. You know why? Because he don't sponsor a doggone thing to pass nothing. So I'm going to leave that there. But y'all keep messing around, y'all going to let Shree win. Then you had Helena Scott. She was just talking about running for re-election and how they redrawn her district. I'm still disappointed in her because she went against us for Proposal P and didn't open up her mouth to contact any of us who were the commissioners. And I know she got my number. So I remember that. Who else was there? Oh, Tanisha Yancey trying to get on the Third Circuit Court. I saw some petitions for her, but she wasn't there to speak. Kelly Garrett, let's talk about that because the main people I want to get to is Sherry and Portia. So Kelly Garrett spoke. Now I'm going to tell you, a couple of us left feeling that she still may enter the race for the 12th Congressional District. That's where Rashida, Janice Winfrey are running. My thing is April the 19th is the deadline for signatures. So we're almost at March 19th. I don't know if Kelly's going to do it. I am very sensitive to what she just experienced last year. I know some, I just, this is what I hear. I hear that some people have come to her asking her to run for Congress. And sometimes I just wonder, do our people, we have no chill, just no chill at all. Like she just lost her son, and she's still the mayor of Lathrop Village. Why are we trying to pressure her to run for Congress? Like that will be a heck of a race, and she's still gonna be the mayor of Lathrop Village. I'm not understanding. I don't know. I don't know if she has the base to win that race against Rashida. So, but I guess she still would be able to keep her position as Congress. I don't know about that, but it wasn't clear whether or not she's going to do it. So we'll see. We'll see if she files and puts in and gets her signatures. Rashida is still in the lead in the 12th. And okay, so getting back to what I said. So then Sherry Gay was the first person to speak. Now, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but remember when we were talking a couple weeks ago about Warren Evans has a team of people who did some interviews for the 13th, and that they selected their candidate that they want to endorse. So, it was some stakeholders. It was the typical, faith-based leaders that, we always see coming out endorsing, usually the wrong person. But them, and then labor was there. You did have someone from a community activist that was there, blah, blah, blah. Say all of that to say, they've already selected their person, and it wasn't Sherry. So here's the thing. If you have several different slates that are going to go in the same direction, what does that mean for these other candidates who are running in the 13th? You get what I'm saying? If you have several different slates that are going to be pushing literature and pushing the people that they influence to go in one direction, what does that mean for the other candidates? That's another thing. I did watch the interviews. There are some people who do not need to run for Congress. There are some people who absolutely do not need to run for Congress. And I mean that. And they are nothing but obstacles and spoilers in this race because you're not ready. You are not ready. And you don't know the issues. Now, I believe Sherry came in number 3 at this whole little debacle or whatever. And I think that they should be announcing soon who their person was. So I don't know. Wait, how can I say this? So there seems to be some angst with Sherry against Portia. So Portia was there, Sherry was there. Let me tell you what Sherry said. Sherry said, well, I'm here. She just basically said she's running for Congress and how the 13th needs someone who has experience with being in the minority and getting things done, is what she said. And then she said, some people, they're good at being a professional. That was shot number 1. Shot number 2. Some people are good at being professionals and other things, but they're not good for this race. She talked about how you don't see some people ever until it's time to run for office. Another shot, but that was a shot to the rest of them too. She was just going in. So I guess where I'm confused is, so Portia was there and Portia got up and she spoke to her things. She should speak more to her body of work too, because Portia has done some things. But let me say this. The person who was selected by that is legacy group is not, it wasn't Portia Williams. She was up there. I believe she was in the top 2, right? But she wasn't selected. I don't know if this is going to be maybe her strategy is to move the other black sister, because saying that we need a woman in Congress, that's a whole movement. That's a whole movement. It is a whole movement. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I don't see, they can say what they want to say about Sharon McPhail. I never go anywhere where anybody's talking about Sharon McPhail. I don't. I guess now maybe she might be trying to get her petitions, and she did interview. You can watch it for yourself. And she did interview. So it was interesting at the 14th to just kind of see, maybe now we are getting into a real election. That's what I'm going to say. But again, April the 19th is the filing deadline. You can see some people are ready to fight for their seat. I can honestly say that some people are ready to fight for their seat. And we need to be cognizant. I'm going to say this to you. This is about those who have led in office. You need to check their track record. You do. See, it's something about this state legislation where they always can sell us a bill of goods about all these great things that they've done. Same thing in the city of Detroit. Same thing for those who already been in Congress or a U.S. Senator or Wayne County. You don't know. A lot of y'all don't know. You need to stop just taking what these people tell you for granted, and you need to do some soul searching, and you need to do some fact checking. Now, that's what I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it right there. Okay, let's get to city council. This city council is no better than the last city council. And I'm going to tell you why. I ask them every week that I'm on city council's call about one thing. One thing that I'm consistent about is the people being overtaxed on their homes. I promise you, with everything, not what I heard, what I witnessed, what I was there for. Out of all 6 of those new people who were elected, each and every one of them claimed that either they said, oh, I agree with Nicole about what should be done, about giving them tax credits, or talked about the things that they were going to do, except for Fred Durhal. Now, that was the only one who kept it 100. Now, let me tell you something about Fred. As a lot of people would say, he might be on the side of the mayor. That's how he's seen for the most part, right? And I could say it, right? Because everybody was like, I'm not on the side of the mayor. So we're going to say Fred on the side of the mayor for the most part. That's where people are most cautious. Fred didn't lie and say, he said something needs to be done, but he didn't say he was going to do nothing about supporting us with getting these tax credits. He didn't say he was going to do anything to support the resolution that's already been submitted in 2020 to city council that outlined how we could get tax credits, but the other 6 did. And I was there to witness each and every one of them at different points. Sometimes some of us were on the same panel. So why, when I asked you, don't nobody have nothing to say? Not one of you. Finally, President Sheffield claims that, oh, well, we're working on it. And that's what's her name? Santiago said too. I don't get nothing from the rest of them. Oh, well, I'm in District 2. And Member Calloway did say on her meeting, now that she's on the other side, she sees things. What that mean? Now that you're on the other side? The issue is still the same issue. What do you see on the other side? That y'all not going to do nothing about it? But all of you ran on it. I can't get a word out of Coleman. I can't get a word out of Mary. I can't get a word out of Letitia. I can't get a word out of, yeah. That's it. So you mean to tell me that we can, and I'm asking them specifically, the only way that we're going to get some type of resolve about our property taxes of being overtaxed is if they make it a line item agenda in the committee, in the budget committee. And I keep asking, well, what day is that? You got the council president who done went out here holding this whole public meeting in January when y'all hopped on that call. What you getting out of it? So just to pacify you, they're going to have another meeting. Meeting about what? We done said what we want. Give us our tax credits. Now, I know some people say cut the check, but I done told you. If you read the state statute, we probably not going to, I don't see how we could get a check. So I'm just going for something that we can get some more immediate relief. They won't even make it a line item in the committee. So they had no intentions on discussing it with you. And I bet you they're going to give you some garbage when you get it. But again, this is the council. Won't say a word. Won't say, and everybody got my telephone number. I don't hear nothing from nobody. Your next point. This is budget hearing. Oh, let me tell you what's coming up for budget hearing. Let me just tell you. Budget hearing started in March, the beginning of this month. Hold on. Where is the schedule? Here's the schedule. Monday the 14th, Department of Public Works, Department of Innovation, Technology, Airport the 16th, Water and Sewage. I'm going to have to post this. Housing and Revitalization is tomorrow. Okay. Housing Revitalization, Planning and Development, Board of Zoning Appeals. What's today? Water and Sewage Department, Public Lighting Department and Authority. We don't have a public lighting department. We only have a public lighting authority because remember, y'all got rid of during the contrived bankruptcy, they got rid of the public lighting department, which we need to bring back. DBA is on the books for today. Detroit Building Authority, Detroit Land Bank. Let me tell you how they screwing you, and this is a house divided. I've been asking for weeks, why don't they open up the Irma Henderson Auditorium so more of us can go down there and participate and hear when the mayor is departments are bringing these proposals about how they want to use our money. And most of these are authorities anyway, right? Shouldn't we be able to be a part of that? Well, let me tell you what nobody gonna answer. And so member Calloway said that she would like an answer to my question. So council president says, well, the Irma Henderson Auditorium isn't set up for hybrid meetings. It was supposed to be, but it's not. Hybrid meetings meaning that they could do it on Zoom and you could be in person. So what happens right now, pay attention to this, for your community committee of the whole sessions, which are on Tuesdays, we have to go down the hall to that small room. 90% of the room is filled up with people who work for the city of Detroit. So it's very few of us who could get into that room, and then you have to sit outside. What kind of garbage is that? And then they don't run off enough agendas for you anyway. You mean to tell me that in the city, when we got money and revenue coming through this city, like I posted yesterday, like rain in a tsunami, you mean to tell me that you're going to keep us all cooped up, just a few of us though, right? In that little room down the hall, and you can't open up the Irma Henderson Auditorium, number one, so we can all social distance. What about that? Because I thought that that's why you were on Zoom, because you were so worried about COVID and you wanted to make sure, don't forget, they supposed to be virtual until March 31st for the most part. Isn't that because of COVID? So now you're going to tell me that you can't open up this Irma Henderson Auditorium talking about what media said. Well, I got a news flash. And this is the part that just really is insulting to me. This is the part that's so damn insulting to me. You going to keep black folks and other folks in Detroit out of a doggone budget hearing when you know good and doggone well that once this budget is approved, the money is done for. It's done for. We get another 400 million coming into this city in May from ARPA dollars. Plus, we have a $2.7 billion budget that we operate on. And so what you're trying to do is exclude as many of us as they possibly can. We're never going to fill up the auditorium. We're never going to probably fill up the whole bottom half. But you could let more of us in there so we could be social distance. But number one, so we could all be in the same room hearing the same thing. So we can ask some questions. And number two, so we could get a copy of what's being proposed. We need to see the paperwork that's being submitted to you. It should be submitted to us as well. Don't tell me to go use my ink to print up all of those papers. So then I said, well, why can't you go and the next week? Because, you know, I keep calling in. So because I went down there one time and they wouldn't let me in the room because it was full. It was only 6 people from the public. So they wouldn't let me in the room. And I don't have time to waste my gas and to waste paying for parking. And you're going to tell people it's only a limited number of us. But you need to kick some of the people out who we paying their salary. We pay for them other people. All of those people don't need to sit in that room. It should be the public first. So I said, well, why don't you roll in that large TV screen that you usually do when people making presentations, hook up the laptop, then people can be on Zoom and you can let the rest of us in there. Well, last week, council president said that she had a meeting with media to discuss opening up the room. Mind you, budget hearing started on this Monday, the 14th. I said, well, why don't y'all just pretend like it's an election year and you want to make sure that you open up the doors for all of those that you want to vote for you? I bet you open up that auditorium then. I bet you open up the auditorium then. Well, council president says that, she's not trying to keep anybody out. You are. And so then I kept thinking something don't seem right. Why is media telling you this? And I could have swore that Mayor Duggan had a meeting down here, a hybrid meeting during COVID. Sure enough, he did. So why can't you open it up for the people during budget hearing? Do you think any of these council people done said anything besides Member Calloway? And then she did email me back, telling me the same thing that was already said on there. And I responded and said, well, can you ask them why can't they roll the TV in there and hook it up to a laptop so then people could be on Zoom and then the rest of us can be in person? I haven't heard anything. So I don't know if she asked and they didn't respond. I don't know what happened. But I'm telling you something. This is budget hearing. Can you imagine not one of your council people has said a word? So you could keep thinking that people are really for you. They won't even open up their mouth and they won't even respond. In what city? Do you think that they could do this in Royal Oak? Do you think that they would allow this in Bloomfield? Do you think that they would allow this in Farmington? No, hell no. They wouldn't even allow that in the trailer park. They won't even open up the auditorium and budget. Let me tell you what you've already missed. Let me tell you. Department of Public Works was on Monday. Department of Innovation and Technology. That's the do-it department. I know you're not asking for no more money and you won't open up the Irma Henderson Auditorium because according to City Council, you're the reason why we can't meet in the auditorium. Because of the do-it media department. Airport was a line item for the budget on Monday. Municipal parking. Municipal parking. You don't say. I don't want to have to always log in online. I want to be there. And I should have a right to be there. And I should have a right to be in the auditorium that we paying for. That part. And these are the basic things that we can't even get out of this city council. Hold on. That was Monday. Okay, so today I already listed them for you. So I guess they just gonna have their own, basically their own private meeting. Open up the auditorium. You should open it up for the committee of the whole session on Tuesday, and you should open it up for all of these budget hearings. Because more of us should be able to be down there to participate. Take a look at it online, especially Tuesday. See how packed that little room is. And this is what they do to us. You don't even have a city council that could get them to open up the auditorium. You can't get them to open up the auditorium for you to come. That's what I'm saying to you. But they really gonna change the world. You don't hear nothing from Coleman. You don't hear nothing from Mary Waters. You don't hear nothing from Durhall. I ain't heard nothing from Letitia. I ain't heard nothing. I did hear something from Angela. I ain't heard nothing from that Santiago around this. Why don't they tell them to open up the doggone auditorium? And why you got all of those people in that room packed in there like that? If the whole goal was to make sure you protect people from COVID. Why everybody in that little bitty room? And the room only little because of the size of the meetings. Why is that? And let me tell you about these ARPA dollars. And this is what you need to be asking for. I know when I want to propose, I want them to have a pilot program June through September where we get more secondary police officers to come into the doggone neighborhood because they didn't already start that speed and that Sunday fun day. Well, it's Sunday. It's Sunday fun day, Monday fun day, Tuesday fun day. What's today? Today, Wednesday. It's going to be Wednesday fun day because it's 60-some degrees. It's going to be Thursday fun day because it's going to be 69 degrees. I'm just saying they having fun days already. Speed. So I don't need you directing traffic downtown. Why don't you come and do something about this mess to mitigate it in the neighborhood? Because it's already starting. So we could take some of that money and we could get more secondary police officers in the neighborhood. Do something about this speeding because I'm sick of it. And the rest of the stuff. Then we need some money to make sure that we no, what's happening? Oh, we need some money to make sure that they put more money into the home improvement program. And we need to make sure that when they put the money in the home improvement program, that there aren't restrictions like of what you can use it for outside of the norm. So right now, the money can only be used for the roofs. They claim that because some people were fixing other things and they weren't getting their roof fixed. But what if I don't need my roof fixed? What if I got a porch just falling down? What if I got a porch that's supposed to have 4 steps, but I only have 1 step? I'm saying that happens in the city of Detroit a lot more often than what you think. And then also, you know, the pillars and some people have the overhang of the roof. So some of that is falling in. What if I need that? What if I need you to give me new windows? What about that? What if I need some gutters? What if I need that? But you have people telling us that we can only use it for a roof. We need more money into the home repair program, right? Also, I need them to cut this grass more often than they usually do. I'm saying we got another 400 million coming in here. $95 million of pandemic aid money was used for demolition. How that work? How do you use $95 million of pandemic aid money when you just suckered these people into Detroit to support a proposal in, which was another $250 million bond, in addition to the $50 million that you get a year out of our general operating budget for demolition? How much money do you need? $95 million of pandemic aid money went to demolition. Find another city where they're doing that. Find another city where they're doing that. But city council don't want to open up the auditorium. Keep that in mind, okay? So that's the next thing. They also need to cut the grass more often. So we could put some more money so we can get more grass cuts, which also, in my mind, I'm just thinking, this will open up an opportunity for more of our people to be contractors with the city who do landscaping so they can make some money too, right? So let's do that. Then, okay, so wait a minute. I said I'm on more secondary officers in the neighborhood because I'm sick of this speeding and all of this killing these babies. Home repair, outside is just being able to get a roof. Grass cut. I'm missing something else that I said. I should have brought my list with me. Grass cut. So public safety, home repair, getting the grass cut, something else that's happening that they can use some of that money for. I can't remember. Those are 3, but I'm missing one more that I had said that I wanted listed. So the reason why I'm saying this to you is, like, I know in our district too, our council person was saying that she would like to see some ARPA dollars used for a dog park. That's probably some of them folks on the other side of Livernois who look, I don't want no dog park. Everybody walk their dog when they want to walk their dog. We need some other stuff. Now, I'm just telling you, I ain't for that. Not first. Not first. And I'm not first. And just because people be asking you for stuff, you're going to have to learn how to prioritize what the overall district needs. Okay? Safety, using this for more increased public safety would be better. Like to stop some of the speeding so these kids can play up and down the street. Making sure that we have more money in home repair. Like, these should be priorities on your list, not a dog park. Let the Wayne County, because I know Monique McCormick was talking about getting a dog on dog park. Let the county use their money for a dog park. Let them go and do that. But I'm telling you, $95 million in pandemic aid money has been used for demolition. So let me just be clear. It's called pandemic aid money. That's to aid the people during a pandemic, which is a crisis. You gonna tell me that the best way to aid the people is to dig another hole in the ground? Instead of building up this city, and I don't hear nothing from none of these city council folks. Nothing. And you folks on the east side and you folks on the west side in District 7, let me tell you something about that flooding. So I was on a District 4 CAC meeting on Monday. Yeah, Monday. And so remember Letitia Johnson was on there. And so, you know, them people big mad in that District 4 about them basements. So they have a program where, check this out. So there's some type of program, I guess, where they're going to help the people whose basements were flooding. Well, come to find out, surprise, surprise, it's not being done in an equitable way. They only selecting a few people who gonna receive assistance with their basements being flooded. I wonder what's going on with y'all in District 7 over there. But hold on. So Member Johnson said that the mayor came to her meeting on Monday and she was cautiously optimistic about approving the dollars because our infrastructure is so old. I agree. But I'd be cautious. Wasn't you just standing up there with Mike Duggan and Gary Brown? You should have got, I wouldn't stand up there with them until they show you that they're going to give your community what they need, right? We know that the infrastructure is extremely antiquated in this city. I agree with her on that. But you cautious about what? District 4, you need to be clear about exactly what you want to see, how you want to see those dollars used to stop that flooding over there. Oh, that's what I said the fourth thing was. They need to clean out the basins, those basins in the street. That was the fourth thing. That's what I said. That was the fourth thing that they need to do. And so there was some debate back and forth. And so, Member Johnson told the people that they should be asking the mayor about it. I said, well, dig that. I guess that's a way to get it on up off of you, right? I don't understand what's going on around here. But I'm going to tell you something about that flooding. It's dangerous. With that sewage coming up in your basement, with that stuff turning into mold, District 4, you got to get on it. You have to. You have to be clear about exactly how you want to see those dollars used, because I'm afraid that what's about to happen is that the water department is going to give out some more money, right? Tens of thousands of dollars to some vendor to go hang these doggone hangers on your door. Nothing is going to happen, right? How about they do this? How about they figure out how to pay a group to come and at least clean out the basements? Because obviously they're not going to do nothing about the flooding. Don't seem like you about to get some more flooding. So why don't they at least take some of that money and pay these people to come clean out your basements? They should already have those people set up, because obviously they're not doing anything about the stop to prevent the flooding. That doesn't seem to be a priority. And so my question to City Council is, so are you going to approve giving any more dollars to DWSD? Where is the accountability for Great Lakes Water Authority? I'm just wondering. Does anybody have the nerve to stand up at City Council and suggest that we get a new director of water instead of an ex-police officer? Show me your backbone. Show me your backbone. Because probably what you're going to get is a Coleman Young telling Gary Brown what a great job that he doing. And did you see it yesterday at City Council? Let me tell you, they had Hugh Perkins there. Look, I ain't never seen so much shucking and jiving and chinning and grinning in my life. And I watch Hugh Perkins. This not about him. This about the City Council. Let me tell you something. They brought him there to honor him. The Detroit City Council brought Hugh Perkins there to honor him. And Coleman talked about all the great work he's done for the city. Like what? See how we let people make statements like that? Like what? Hugh Perkins, I don't know if he ever lived here, but he damn sure ain't lived here in probably about 40 years. Okay? At least. If he ever lived here. He works in Southfield. It's not like he works for Channel 4 down in Detroit. And that's okay, because Hugh Perkins was hired to do a job as a journalist. Do you know all of them sitting up there, Council President, Durhall, Coleman, I don't know if anybody else said anything, but they all singing his praises about what he has done for Detroit. I don't know if he's a philanthropist in the city of Detroit. I don't know that about Hugh Perkins, right? Like, has he been donating to help the neighborhoods or something like that? But let me tell you what they gave him. They gave him a resolution. They gave him a Spirit of Detroit award and had enough nerve to give him a City of Detroit pen, and he don't even live in the city of Detroit. And he was very gracious. He was. And he said he was going to wear that pen last night. But you see what I'm talking about? You got folks out here who've been doing all kind of work in the city of Detroit, going up in abandoned houses, looking for missing kids, missing women, all kind of stuff. You got people out here helping their fellow neighbor. You got people out here advocating for the people. And I can name you several people who deserve to have all of that before Hugh Perkins. And you gave him a city of Detroit pen, really though? That's the city council that you have, because that's what they value. That's what they value. So basically, city council been getting paid since last November, because you know you on your transition team. So them and they staff been getting paid since last year. See, all of this, it's too many of y'all sit and see Negroes around here. You always want to sit and see what somebody gonna do to you. They showing you what they gonna do to you. Screw you over. So they've been getting paid. Well, they just got in there. No, they didn't. They've been in there since last year. On your dime. They've been in there since last year on your dime. Bet you don't even know that. But so what if they've been there since January? This March. How many people get 90 days or more to get it together? And your boss is paying you. That's what I want to understand. And incumbents, you know they've been getting paid. They just came back with the same rhetoric, most of them, and the bull crap. So you mean to tell me they haven't done anything? They won't even make it a line item to negotiate some solutions for overtaxed homeowners. That's that. As far as y'all being flooded, sound like they're going to support what the mayor just proposed, cautiously optimistic or not. Okay? That's what you about to get. As far as public safety, crime has gone up. As far as home repair, yeah, don't see where that's going. They won't open up the auditorium for you because they don't say anything. Maybe after this video they will, but they don't really care, because this is just talk. Because you know we sell a whole lot of wolf tickets in this city, right? Let me see. What else y'all been asking for? Them folks down there about the bond, they blowing them off. Carmack have been down there for 7 weeks straight, and they won't give him his money back. He be on them now, right? I'm saying, well, what you gonna sit and see? That's what I'm trying to figure. You gonna sit and see what? Maybe they need some directive, is all that I'm saying. All of this sitting and seeing. We're going to sit and see what they going to do. They showing you what they going to do. Nothing. But they sure can make it up there to go stand with Duggan every time he got a press conference or something, or he out here in the community trying to make you believe that it's some real affordable housing up in this piece when it's still not affordable for your people. And District 4, you better get it together, because you know you're going to be just as bad as District 5, and then they're going to be coming for you too, District 3. And District 1, oh, let's talk about this whole cannabis thing. These folks who keep coming down here about this social equity, I feel sorry for you, because they showing up spinning you like a top. They spinning you like a top. And here's the problem. Nobody really wants to be inundated in their community with cannabis, with these marijuana dispensaries. But let me tell you the problem that I have. You mean to tell me that out of a council of 7 Black people before, you couldn't see how you were allowing the Arabics, the Chaldeans, and the white folks, none of whom live here, right? None of whom live here. If they do, it might be 0.5%. To go and saturate our communities with marijuana dispensaries, and you couldn't even figure out a way to protect the interests for some of the Black people in the community. Dig that. So good luck to you on whatever they're going to say next. This week they were supposed to vote on it. So now they pushed it back another week, because Councilman Tate said that he also had some amendments. That dog, you've been working on this for years. You ain't got your amendments together yet? See how they going to spin you like a top? And then here's another group that's been coming down there. Did you know about this group of Black investors who were purchasing property off the land bank, and they're being sued by the city? So I had been hearing about this in maybe 2020, end of 2019, wasn't really sure like how big of a deal it was. So I know for city council last week, there were a couple of women who came down. They might have come down this week too, but I had to get off the call. So they went to the Herb Strather Institute, or whatever that school is over there on Greenfield. And you know, Herb been on the property for years. And so they started receiving, I guess they're being sued by the city of Detroit for either being behind on the taxes. I believe I need to go back and listen to that. I do. I believe they're behind on the taxes for some of the property. Well, the one lady read off all of the property she owned that she being sued for. It was at least 10. I'm just gonna tell you. Okay. And then there was another lady who came behind her, and these were two sisters, and they were, you know, professionally dressed, and they were articulate about what the issue was. Do you know this lady had a stack of papers this big? And she had did her due diligence to go find some other investors who had bought property that wasn't black, and they not doing nothing to them. So do you hear what I'm saying about there are several different ways that especially Black Detroiters or Black people are being pushed out of home ownership in the city of Detroit? Because now a lot of those investors, and I know someone that I'm going to ask, but I remember them telling me about this, but I didn't know. I thought it was maybe an isolated incident. Well, obviously it's not. There are a lot of Black people who are purchasing property who actually, I don't know if they live in Detroit proper. I know one lady does. And the other ones may live in Metro Detroit, but at least they're not living in China or Russia buying up the property, okay? And they are here. So you can access them, I guess, if they're not taking care of their properties. But they're being sued by the city of Detroit about their land bank properties. You and I both know there are several investors that don't look like us who buying up properties, and not just in affluent neighborhoods in the city of Detroit, in all type of neighborhoods in the city of Detroit. And you know they don't take care of their property. They don't. And they're not being sued by the city of Detroit. Look at that. They came to city council. What was the response to that? Nothing. So this is all. So what is city council supposed to do? Like if you run on a platform and you say you ready to work day one, this is just all I'm asking you. And there's always a learning curve. I don't expect you to know everything. I don't expect you to know everything. And there's always a learning curve. But you mean to tell me you can't do the basics? You can't get overtaxed homeowners as a line item on the agenda in the committee. You can't open up the auditorium. You can't look at some of these dollars coming through this doggone city and to make sure that our interests are going to be protected. God dog, it's 9 of you. But that's our fault. This is why it's a house divided. That's our fault. Treat them like you would have treated me. That's what I don't understand. Folks be on me. Y'all want me to do it. Listen, I still get folks. Nicole, can you do this? Nicole, can you? You still won't even go to your city council people. What does that tell you about what you think about them? And I'm always here to help when I can. But dang, make them do. They get $90,000 a year plus a car. And oh, let me tell you this. You better check out some of them staff people. Oh my Lord. Remember when Kwame was hiring all his friends? Remember that? Remember how that worked out? And look, some of them people had never worked in like government or around policies in a structured environment like that before. They did not have the skill set or the capacity for the jobs that they were hired for. Now I'm being honest because a lot of people was talking about it, right? You see how that ended when he just went and hired his friends. It's a whole lot of that going on in city council too. You only as strong as your team, and these folks don't have, they not the best choices. And you need to get people who can fill in the gaps where you weak. That's what you do. You got folks on policies that don't know nothing about policy, because I done sat up here and listened to them on a meeting and they got all of it wrong. All three. You got folks on a community as your community liaison. I'm going to let somebody come on here and tell you what happened. And listen, you got a community liaison that told a person yesterday Then what they need to do is get a petition and get some signatures from the people, because it's strength in numbers. Because they talking to you about what's going on in that district. And you said the community person told the constituent to go out there and get some signatures from people, I guess, so they can see, when you know it's already an issue because you said that y'all have been working on it. I never in my life. That's what the community liaison person told this person. And some people still waiting for callbacks. I'm waiting for y'all to open up the auditorium and to get and to put overtaxed homeowners as a line item. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm very clear because I know that there's a challenge with some of y'all to draw the right conclusions for what we asking. So I'm very clear about my ask. Can I get that though? Can we get that? Can we get it? Can you open up the auditorium? Can you provide us with the documents that you're receiving as being proposed from the mayor on how to use our money? That's all I'm saying. And no, I won't be at every meeting. And I don't care. You still should open up the auditorium. They won't even open up the auditorium for you. They gonna keep you packed up in their room like slaves on a slave ship. And I said it and I meant it. It's a disgrace. They would never do, they would not try this. Well, let me tell you this. What if the topic of discussion was, let me see, development, I don't know. Say if they was going to open up the door for a bunch of land to go to developers, right? Prime real estate. Do you think that they would have people like Bishop Edgar Van, Dan Gilbert's people, Barton Marlowe, Dennis Archer Jr.? Do you think that they would have a bunch of developers with money crammed up in their room or had them hanging out in the overflow? And y'all need to stop that stupid mess going down there telling them about the great job they do it, and you can't even get the basics. Get something first. Get something that's substantive. Do you think that they would treat those people like that? Do you? Boy, they open up that auditorium so fast so they could be comfortable, or either they kick off some of their staff members so more of them can get in there. But not for you, not for us, not for us. And this is what you tolerate. This is why it's a house divided, because you think you won't sit and see what they gonna do. Well, you should be tired of sitting, and you should have seen enough by now. And that's the truth. But some of you like them too much. And see, that's why they say don't hire your friends, right? If you can't stand on policy and principle, then don't hire your friends. Everybody can't do it. I can. And do you think that if you demand what's due to you, that means that you're attacking them? Who told you that? Who told you that? You have to get something now, because budget hearings are over this month. They might go into the first week of April, but they're going to have this thing approved. That's what I'm telling you. Once the budget is approved, it's too late. You can't walk it back and get money that's already allocated and appropriated. That's not how this thing works. This is not how this thing works. You need to be stronger and more focused. I'm not telling you to cuss them out. I'm telling you to stop accepting mediocrity. That's what I'm telling you. Stop it. Just stop it. It's embarrassing. And I hate to see y'all steamrolled like this. These people smiling in your face and making it like they so overwhelmed or whatever, when really and truly they didn't had another conversation about how they not going to do what you want them to do. And the reason why they're not going to do it is because they know that they're protected by you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're protected by you. And it's okay to be like, you know what? I like my representative. I'm okay with that. What I'm saying is, when you get to the point when you're afraid or you can't see where there are gaps, and I mean, these are major gaps. I'm not talking about a piece of trash on your ground. Oh, it's 9:33. Let me hurry up. I'm talking about quality of life issues. And when you start demanding these quality of life issues, you know what else you need to demand? You need to demand a deadline. That's what you need to do. But you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing the rest of your community a disservice, because they will automatically defer to you because you're a safe space. Be a safe space for them while getting something done. That's all. You will not advance your agenda if you're so worried about protecting their feelings. You will not advance your agenda if you're so worried about their agenda. Their agenda is to keep that job so they can keep a paycheck. You just won't. And I don't know where y'all came up with this, but it's not good. And we will never, ever see this much money coming through the city. I don't believe, not in our lifetime, in the next lifetime, or the lifetime after that. There's so much money coming through this city. Our neighborhoods deserve better. Our people deserve more opportunities. You cannot allow them to allocate a portion of money for nonprofit organizations, and they're going to these nonprofit organizations like, what's the name of the one that was on the news yesterday? The Detroit something. It was led by this white gentleman. And guess what? Now he about to worry about Ukraine. Oh yeah, but the name of your organization is Detroit New or something like that. And he about to worry about Ukraine. And we still have babies out here getting killed. We still have homeless people. We still have people facing foreclosure. We still have people about to have their water shut off. You understand what I'm saying? You still have people can't get their snow shovel. You still have people without steps. You still have people who can't even have access to any of these opportunities to make a sustainable wage. You know why? Because government isn't doing their job. You think that that's a joke when we talk about the Davis-Bacon Act and how people are being hired in the city of Detroit for these construction jobs, and they're supposed to get paid more, but they're not. And the reason why they're not getting paid more is because the federal government has sent dollars to make sure they get paid more, but it stopped at your city government and they don't make sure that they get it. Quality of life issues. Public safety is a quality of life issue. Having access to water is a quality of life. Affordable housing, quality of life. Quality of life issues. And if you don't care and you worried about feelings, see, this is what I'm telling you. Feelings will sometimes get you upped, okay? That's what I'm telling you. Be reasonable, but be clear. Be explicitly clear about what your expectations are and what you need to have from your representation. And you need to do that at every level of government. Period. So thank you all. I want to come back because I want to play a recording that was played at public comment, but I don't have time today. And you really need to hear you need to hear this for yourself so you can see where we really have some work to do with these leaders that we're electing and appointing into these positions. You really need to hear this for yourself. So what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday? Okay, maybe I could come back on tomorrow at 8. So thank you all. Be safe. Enjoy this weather. It's going to be, I think, 64, 65 today and 69 tomorrow. So enjoy it while you can, because it's going to drop right back down to 40-something degrees. Have a great day.